In our first unit, we will go through the foundational rules of numeracy. The ability to understand these foundational rules allows us to create what I call a solid foundation, a foundation that cannot and will not falter as we build on this. The first set of foundational rules applies to addition and subtraction. These are based on whether the execution of the calculation is commutative or not. Commutative simply means that when one changes the operands, which are operations such as addition and subtraction, multiplication and division, does not change the result. Addition thus is commutative. Why? Because 2 plus 4 gives the same result as 4 plus 2. Is subtraction commutative? No. Subtraction, on the other hand, is not commutative. Why? Because 21 minus 6 does not give the same result as 6 minus 21. Calculations involving addition and subtraction. In general, all calculations are done from left to right. Thus the sign, negative sign or minus sign, for example, is in front of the number. As we have just seen, subtraction is not commutative. However, this does not mean that we cannot rearrange the calculations that have both addition and subtraction. The rule is that we must keep in mind is when we are rearranging the calculations, we must retain the sign in front of the number. Let's look at an example. 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 7 plus 3 is exactly the same as 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7. In this example, we only have addition, so we do not need to be too concerned. However, let us look at our second example. 6 plus 7 minus 10 plus 2 minus 1 minus 2 is really equal to 6 plus 7 plus 2 minus 10 minus 1 minus 2. Multiplication and division. Is multiplication commutative? Yes. Why? 2 multiplied by 3 is the same as 3 multiplied by 2. Is division commutative? No. Why not? 2 over 3 is not the same as 3 over 2. There are some additional rules that we need to bear in mind. Multiplication and division. 0 multiplied, any quantity multiplied by 0 is 0. And since we can perform multiplication in any order, 0 times any quantity is still 0. 0 divided. 0 divided by any quantity is 0. However, the operation of dividing by 0 is not defined. Multiplication by 1 leaves a number unchanged. Multiplication and division of negative numbers. Before we summarize what we've been through, I think a note on signs is important. When you multiply or divide two numbers with the same sign, positive and a positive, or a negative and a negative, will result in a positive answer. When multiplying or dividing two numbers with different signs, for example a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive, the result will always be a negative answer. In summary, we have been through 4 basic mathematical functions: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. However, if we remember our commutative rules, we can simply create 2 buckets, which makes remembering the rules easier. The 2 buckets are: addition and multiplication are commutative, division and subtraction are not commutative.